that tension just now, that's not magic, that's psychology. There are tiny, almost invisible gestures that flip a switch in a woman's brain, making you instantly irresistible. Most men miss this entirely, but by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use them. Most guys walk into a room thinking that attraction is all about the words you say or the clothes you wear, but they're missing the most powerful frequency. There's the unspoken language of your presence. We're talking about those micro gestures, those tiny, almost invisible movements that bypass the logical brain and go straight to the primal, subconscious part of a woman's mind. When we talk about becoming sexually irresistible, we aren't talking about being loud or obnoxious. We're talking about high status subtlety. It's about that magnetic pull that happens when your body language says that you're completely comfortable in your own skin without needing anyone's permission to exist. If you can master this, you're not just playing the game, you're changing the entire energy of the interaction before you even open your mouth to speak. Think about the concept of relaxed dominance for a second, because this is where most men fail miserably by trying too hard. When a guy is nervous, he's fidgety, he's checking his phone, adjusting his collar, or tapping his feet, and all that movement signals to her subconscious that he is anxious or seeking approval. To be truly irresistible, you need to master the art of stillness. This doesn't mean being a sadist, but it means having control the initial movements. When you sit with purpose. When you move your hands, do it with a certain deliberate slowness. This stillness creates a vacuum of tension that she'll instinctively wanna feel. It signals that you're the predator and not the prey, and that your nervous system is regulated. That sense of calm, unshakable stability is one of the most intoxicating things a woman can sense in a man. If this is hitting home for you, do me a solid, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps the algorithm find more guys who need to hear this. Let's get back to it. Let's dive into the eyes, because the way you hold eye contact is perhaps the most direct way to trigger a psychological response in her. There's a massive difference between a staring contest, which feels aggressive and creepy, and a smiling gaze that feels intimate and magnetic. You want to implement what we call the soft focus technique. Instead of hyper-focusing on her pupils like you're analyzing a spreadsheet, you relax the muscles around your eyes. You want to look at her as if you're seeing something beautiful and slightly mysterious. When you hold eye contact during a lull in the conversation, don't be the first to look away. Hold it just 1 second longer than is comfortable. Let a tiny, annoying smirk play on your lips, and then slowly break it. This creates a tension spike that makes her heart rate climb and makes her wonder exactly what you're thinking about her. And now, let's talk about the power of physical proximity and the initial touch that defines a high-value man. Most guys eyes are either way too touchy, which feels desperate or they're terrified of any physical contact, which lands them firmly in the friend zone. The key to being sexually irresistible is the subtle, almost accidental micro touch. This is a hand on the small of her back as you guide her through a doorway, or a brief firm touch on her forearm to emphasize a point you're making. The secret here is the direction and the pressure. It must be brief, purposeful, and then this is the most important part. You must withdraw it immediately by pulling back. You're essentially teasing her nervous system. You're showing her that you're comfortable with intimacy, but you aren't hungry for it. There's a curious psychological push-pull effect that keeps her constantly craving your touch. One of the most overlooked aspects of attraction is how you use your space, and I'm talking about territorial expansion. A man who takes up space not in a rude or aggressive way, but in a way that shows he is comfortable and grounded is naturally more attractive. If you're sitting at a table, don't huddle over your drink like you're trying to hide. Spread your arms slightly, lean back, and occupy your environment. This is a primal signal of high testosterone and low cortisol. When you occupy a space confidently, you're signaling to her that you're a protector and a leader. It tells her subconscious that you aren't threatened by the world around you. When she sees you being comfortable in a larger open space, her biology starts to register you as a high status individual, which is a massive component of sexual magnetism. Which of these gestures do you think is the hardest to master without looking forced? Tell me your thoughts below. We also need to address the voice and cadence factor, because how you speak is often more important than what you're actually saying. Most men, especially when they're around a woman they find attractive, tend to speak faster, higher in pitch, and with more unspeak. That habit of ending every sentence like it's a question. It's a massive attraction killer because it signals submissiveness and uncertainty. To fill up the script, you need to lean into your lower register, slow down your speech, use pauses and silence as your greatest tool. When you ask a question or make a point, let the silence sit for a bit before you continue. This shows that you aren't afraid of the tension. A man who's comfortable with silence is a man who's comfortable with himself, and that level of self-assurance is incredibly rare and deeply attractive. Let's get into the psychology of the lean, which is a subtle body language hack used by the most charismatic people on the planet. In any social interaction, there's a dance of leaning in and leaning out. If you're constantly leaning in towards her, you're projecting neediness, you're chasing her energy. If you wanna be irresistible, you must master the art of leaning back. When she's speaking, lean back slightly. Show her that you're listening, but that you're slow, perfectly fine being an observer. This forces her to subconsciously lean toward you to bridge the gap. It develops the dynamic of the interaction, making her the one pursuing your attention. By creating this a tiny bit of physical and emotional distance, you're actually building an immense amount of attraction through the psychological principle of scarcity. Out of all this, which one do you feel has the most instant impact on a woman's vibe? Drop your pick in the comments. I want to talk about micro expressions, specifically the way your face reacts to her. A man who's too polite or constantly nodding in agreement can actually come across as boring or even subservient. To be sexually irresistible, you need to show a bit of playful skepticism. This means when she says something, don't just agree blindly. Give her a look that says, I see what you're doing there, or a slight tilt of the head that suggests you're challenging her a little bit. It's about being a bit of a challenge. Women are used to men who are easily won over. So when you show that you have your own opinions and that you aren't just a yes man, it triggers a deep sense of intrigue. You want her to feel like she has to earn your validation, not just receive it for free. Another massive component is scent and sensory awareness. This isn't just about wearing expensive cologne, though that helps. It's about the way you carry your sensory presence. There is a science to how pheromones and scent interact with the limbic system, which governs emotion and desire. However, the gesture here and the subtlety of it. You don't want to overwhelm her. You want her to have to lean in closer to catch a hint of it. When you move, there should be a pleasant trail of your scent. Alright, I want to hear from you. Which one of these gestures felt the most powerful to you? Drop a comment below. I'm reading everything and I'll see you in the next one.